All right, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us for a virtual field trip to a pig farm. Today we are with Kaden and Emily Roush, and they are near Lebanon, Kansas. And before we go back to the farm, we are going to introduce a few people and the schools. First we have Dan Toland with Wilt PR. You teachers may recognize him. He's helped with all of our technology setup, so we really appreciate that. We also have Sharon Thielen from the Kansas Corn Commission on the line watching today. And the Kansas Corn Commission is one of the sponsors for this program, and so we really appreciate that they're supportive of this. So we want to thank her for doing that. Now we'll introduce the schools, and when I say the school name, if you guys could all wave to the farmers and to the other classrooms. We have Nicole Pepin's class from Meadow Lane Primary School in Florida. We have Linda Amos's class from Wichita Montessori School in Wichita, Kansas.
You want to get up there so they can see you. Yeah.
Katie Hagenmeyer's class from Spring Valley Elementary in Junction City, Kansas. And Rochelle Shedrick's class from Service Valley Charter Academy in Parsons, Kansas. And we have just a short intro video to show you around the farm, and then we'll go back to the barn. All right, let's go back to Kaden and Emily on the farm.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Hey, we really appreciate you being here with us today. Could you start out by just telling us a little bit about yourselves and about the history of your farm?
Sure, Kim. So the video you guys watched, I just have to explain it a little bit. We actually have two different farms here in Lebanon, Kansas. The video you watched is a farm that we use to produce meat to take to grocery stores and to sell to consumers if they want bacon or pork chops. That's what we raise at that farm. The farm that we're actually at today is a different one. It's at my mom and dad's place. And at this farm, we raise pigs for kids to show at the county fair and for kids to show at the state fair. So just distinguishing what we've got going there. I know in your short video we didn't have any of this barn in any of that video, but you'll get to see a lot of the stuff that we do down here today. So the history of our farm, I guess my family's been in pigs for as long as I can remember. Emily was never around pigs until we got married, and then I kind of suckered her into being my farm manager, and now she takes care of everything. I think if you can see both of us in the video, you'll recognize who's actually dressed to be at a pig farm today and who's not. So, you know, most of the questions and stuff Emily's going to end up answering today because she's the one that does the hands-on day-to-day things, and I work off the farm. But that's just a little bit about what we do here. Kim, I'll let you take it over and ask some questions.
Sure. Can you tell us a little bit more about the pigs that we're seeing? Maybe how old they are, things like that.
Sure. So this litter of pigs that's right here to Jody's right, these guys are just a few days old. It's not a very big litter, but they're healthy right now, and that's what we like to see. Some of the other pigs you've seen in the video footage here this morning, some of them are getting old enough. They're almost ready to be weaned, probably getting closer to 25 to 26 days old. So the sow that she's looking at right now, these are actually a purebred Berkshire pig. So the Berkshire is the breed of pig that they are, and they're very well known for their meat quality. The first one, the younger pigs that Jody was zooming in on, those are what we call crossbred pigs. So they're just a mix of multiple different types of breeds of pigs.
Okay. And where will the pigs go when they're weaned from their mother?
When we wean them from their mother, we take them into a room we call a nursery. So in the nursery, we have the temperature pretty hot that makes the pigs very comfortable, and we give them a specialized diet that helps them transition from being on their mother's milk into eating a hard feed.
And can you talk a little bit about raising pigs both indoors and outdoors? Maybe what's the benefit of one or the other?
Sure. So the indoor environment, the best thing about raising them inside is that we can control a lot of what happens. So you'll see in a lot of this video footage that we have the sow in what's called a farrowing crate. The farrowing crate is very, very helpful in terms of making sure that the piglets have the best possible chance at surviving. So you can see in the video that some of these sows are very, very large. We have this black one here is probably close to 350 or 400 pounds, and those babies on her are only about 20 pounds. So the size difference is very, very large, and it's very easy for that mother to forget where those babies are at and potentially even lay down on them. But in our indoor environment, it's very easy to control where that mother is able to lay down and then give the piglets a nice heated place to lay down. That's that orange mat that Jody's showing you right there. It's heated so the piglets are drawn over to that away from their mother and in a safer environment for them. Now, in the outdoor environment, things are a lot harder to control, but the piglets have the ability to run around and get a little bit more exercise than what they do in here.
Mm-hmm. And I see there are slats in the floors. Can you explain those?
Sure. So the slats on the floor in here, obviously the piglets can't control where they need to go to the bathroom at like humans can. So we have slatted floors so that when they do go to the bathroom, it falls down into a pit below where we collect the manure and then later apply it to fields for fertilizer.
Okay, great. Now, can you tell us what a typical day is like on your farm? What chores do you do every day? How often do you check the pigs? Things like that.
Well, for this one, Kim, I'm going to hand it over to Emily and let her tell you what she does on the day on the farm.
Sure.
Okay, so every morning, all of these sows, they get bucket fed. So that means that I have to carry 5-gallon buckets around full of feed and feed all of these sows. So that's the first thing that we do. So when that happens, we walk through and we look at everything and make sure that they look healthy and happy and content. So we feed them. So like the sows are the mama pigs. They only get fed once a day, where the growing pigs, like the ones that would be for pork chops, bacon, for your meat, they're fed as much as they want. They get to eat as much as they want. But the sows, they only get fed once a day. But when you look at it, I spend most of my day out here. So we come out first thing in the morning and right before we go to bed at night. So we're out here. They get thoroughly checked twice a day. But I do spend most of my day out here. So after we feed them, my normal day is just making sure that everything looks happy and healthy. If something isn't right, you fix it. Fixing is a big part of pig farming because pigs like to tear things up. So you fix a lot, and you just make sure that they're in the best environment that they can be in, so that they be the best pigs that they can be. So we check them thoroughly, like I said, at least twice a day. But I spend a lot of my time out here anyway, fixing things and making sure that things are fed and that they're clean and that they're healthy.
And it really is a full-time job because you guys don't get spring break or Christmas break or summer break. You're out there every day of the year, aren't you?
Yes, it is a 365-day-a-year job, and we don't get to take, like you said, Christmas break, that sort of thing. If we leave to go somewhere, we have to have a trusted somebody to take over chores for us. So it is a full-time job. If a mama is having babies, I have to be out here. So it could be 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm out here helping mom have babies. So it can even be a 24-hour job pretty easily.
So you talked about feeding the pigs every day. Can you talk about what's in their feed?
Okay, yeah. So the feed, we've got some right here. This ration is actually ground Milo, but we also use corn and soybean meal. So it's kind of powdery sort of thing, and it's got vitamin and minerals and amino acids that the pigs need to be the most productive that they can be and to grow big and strong and healthy. Oh, it's powdery because we grind it. So we have a big machine that hooks up to our tractor that it has little hammers on it, is actually what it's called, and it grinds it like flour. So this has a little bit more chunkiness to it than flour would, but it still has the same sort of concept. It gets ground and mixed together at the same time, and then it creates our pig feed. And depending on where you're at, where the pig is at, while they're growing, or if the sow has babies on her or not, they actually get fed different rations of feed. Where we have 6 different fat feeds. So the growing pigs, they get 6 different rations throughout the time that they're growing, from a baby pig, a small pig, up to a big fat pig at 300 pounds. Yeah, and we have somebody at our co-op who we work alongside with, and K-State, that we double check our rations to make sure that we're feeding the pigs what they need at that point in their growth.
And do you grow any of the food that you feed them, or do you get it locally from other farmers? Where do you get your feed from?
The corn and Milo we grow ourselves. We also get it from Kaden's parents. So we buy it from his parents, or we grow it ourselves. And then the soybean meal comes from soybeans. The soybean meal has to go through a special process before the pigs can fully utilize it. So we don't grow the soybeans directly, but they would be local people like us, like their soybeans is what we would be feeding them.
Okay. And does the grinding, does that help the pigs digest it? Is that why you grind it up?
Yes, it helps. It's easier for the pigs to break down when it's ground into a finer particle. You can also, smaller baby pigs, you can feed them in like pellets as well, and that's really good for their digestive system, is when their feed is in pellets. We don't have the technology to be able to do that on our farm, but there are some people that do.
And do you know how much the piglets eat every day?
Are you talking about how much the piglets drink from their mother, or how much in feed they eat every day?
Either.
Well, I don't think I can accurately answer how much milk a piglet can consume in a day. I know it's a lot. You know, these the mother that we're looking at right now, she'll nurse, you know, up to 9 or 10 times a day with these babies, and only nurse for a couple minutes at a time because their digestive system's so small they can't take large quantities. But once these piglets get weaned and they go into our nursery and go on that specialized ration, they're probably eating somewhere around 2 to 3 pounds of feed a day. And then by the time they get up to 250 to 300 pounds, which is when they're going to market, those pigs are probably consuming closer to 5 to 6 pounds a day.
And how many times per year do the sows have piglets?
So on average, a sow can farrow about 2.5 times a year. So the actual gestation length for sows is 114 days, or the easy way to remember it is 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. So the sow gestates for 114. At this farm, we let the piglets nurse for about 25 to 28 days. Then once the sow is weaned, she'll get mated again and then start the process all over.
And on average, how many piglets do they have at a time?
It's pretty general to have litter sizes of 10 to 12 pigs. A lot of the litters we have in here are smaller. We had some environmental conditions when we were mating these sows that just made their litter sizes be smaller.
Okay. And what happens if a pig gets sick? Do you have a veterinarian that you work with?
We do. We work very closely with our local veterinarians. There's a lot of symptoms that we've seen in our years of pig farming that their sickness, it's pretty quick to determine. If there's something we don't know, the vet's the first person we call, and then they will prescribe a medication if need be. Sometimes there is no medication, and the pigs just need to get over it on their own. A lot like, you know, kids having a common flu, you don't necessarily always give them a medication. You just let them top it up and get over the flu on their own.
And how many pigs do you guys have on your farms?
At this farm, we have about 30 sows, so 30 mama pigs. At our peak season, when we're farrowing a lot of sows for the county fairs, we probably have close to 120, 130 babies on the place. Now, at the other farm that we talked about earlier, and the one you've seen in the opening video, we're running close to 80 sows. And then we've got those piglets ranging all the way from just being born up to market weight. And at any given point in time, we've probably got close to 500 or 600 pigs at that farm.
Okay, we had a couple questions submitted ahead of time. One school wants to know, years ago, families would save table scraps to give the pigs. Would that still be a good idea?
Jody was trying to talk to us, Kim. Can you repeat that question?
Sure. One of the schools submitted some questions ahead of time, and they were wondering if it's a good idea to give pigs table scraps.
If you grew up watching films like Emily and I did, like Wilbur and Babe, you kind of grew up with the concept that a lot of people gave pigs table scraps. And really, it's not that bad of an idea because pigs have the ability to digest a lot of the table scraps and make use of the food that the humans aren't eating. Now, on a farm our size, and most of the pig farms, it's just not quite feasible to have enough table scraps to always feed your pigs. Another problem with table scraps is you just don't know the nutritional content of those table scraps. So that's why we like to stick to a formulated ration, so we know exactly what those pigs are getting and making sure that they're getting their daily requirements.
And say like 50 years ago when the movies that we were thinking about in our minds were around, a lot of people just had one or two sows in their backyard, and that would just be the way that they fed them. It's not really feasible. It's not something that can happen now because most people, when they have pigs, they have a lot of pigs. Even the 30,000 we have here on this farm is still, like he said, it's not feasible to have enough table scraps to feed all of your pigs. So 50 years ago, when everybody had one or two pigs, yeah, that's something that they did. Or even now, if you had one or two pigs, you could go out and feed table scraps. But on something of a larger size, it's not something that happens.
How big are the pigs when they go to market, and do you keep them on your farm until they're that size?
So the farm we're at right now, we'll actually sell them when they get about 60 pounds, and that's when the kids take them and raise them up for a 4-H or FFA project. Now at the other farm, we will take those pigs all the way to market. So we keep ownership in them. And most of those pigs are taken to market at about 300 pounds. So we're feeding them all the way through, and then Emily and I are personally hauling them to the marketplace.
And about how long does that take from birth to market weight?
On our farm, we range anywhere between 6 and 7 months to get them to 300 pounds. So a pig's feed conversion, and for some of the younger kids, just how much they eat versus how much they gain is actually relatively high. So a pig can gain weight really, really quickly, and then we can take them to market, in about a half a year.
Okay. Let's start going around to some of the classrooms and see what kinds of questions they've got for you. So we'll start with Meadow Lane Primary School.
We can't hear you.
Okay, we're working on it for you. Hang on just a second.
All right.
Okay, Meadowline Primary wants to know what types or breeds of pigs are on your farm?
So we actually have a handful of different breeds of pigs that are on our farm. So like Kaden was saying earlier, this one right here, she is a Berkshire hog, and her babies are full Berkshire. The one behind is a cross. So that means that she could be a Heinz 57. So she could have a little bit of everything in her. I would assume that she's probably has some Yorkshire, which is a white breed hog, and maybe like a Hampshire cross, which Hampshires kind of look like this little guy right here. They have black and white, like they have a white belt with a black body. So that's what a Hampshire looks like. We don't have any pure Hampshires on our farm, but they are a popular breed. Like I said, there's Yorkshires. I don't know if we.
Yeah, one in Canada.
This Yorkshire down here, she's all white, and she's got all white piggies, so that means that they're a full-blood York. Our farm, we have Yorkshires, we have Berkshires, crosses. So like I said, it could be a mix of anything. And then we also have what are called Chesters, which they are white pigs, except for they have floppy ears. So that's maybe one of the more iconic pictures of pigs are the ones that have ears over their eyes that are, it kind of looks like they can't see. So there are lots of different types of pig breeds. Those are just a few of them. But there's a lot of them. There's some that, like say people over in Europe like better than the ones that we raise here. It just really depends on where you're at and who you are. Certain people like different breeds of hogs better than others.
Is there one type of breed that's primarily raised for meat consumption, or does it vary?
Yes, actually, the Berkshire hogs, they have awesome meat quality. So that's why we like them personally, is because they have really good meat quality. And then Duroc, which is another hog that I did not mention, they are actually bred, but they also have pretty good meat quality, and they grow well, right? And they grow pretty well. So like the Yorkshires, like where I was talking about back down there, they're known for their mothering ability. So they're really good mamas. They'll have really nice litters, and they can milk them really well.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Wichita Montessori School for questions.
Stand right up there. All right, go ahead.
Have you ever used your pigs for heart valve transplants?
What a very complicated question. I appreciate it, and no, we have not. But I will tell you, there are some farms out there that raise pigs for medical significance. The unique thing about pigs is their organ systems are so similar to humans that some things can transplant. We are never going to be a farm that does that. There's obviously a lot of regulations involved in making sure that you're raising them the way that they need to be. But I do appreciate that question.
Okay, all right, Spring Valley Elementary.
Right.
Do pigs eat corn?
Could you repeat that?
Do pigs eat corn?
Do pigs eat corn?
Yes, pigs do eat corn. Like I said, in our feed right now, we're actually using milo or grain sorghum, but for about half of the year, we do feed corn to our pigs. There's some people can feed, like I said, going back to people with just a few pigs, they might even feed their pigs whole corn. It's not necessarily the best for their nutrition because it's a little bit tougher for them to break down that corn, but pigs do eat a lot of corn.
Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Service Valley Charter Academy for questions.
Hey, Kim, hold on one second. I want to talk a little bit more about corn.
Sure.
So corn we refer to as a cereal grain. So for pig feeding, we have corn, we have grain sorghum, and some people can even feed wheat, all considered a cereal grain. Cereal grains are high in energy or carbohydrates. So that's primarily what we feed corn for, is the energy content in the ration to give pigs energy to put on weight and to put on gain. Now, the other side of that ration is protein, and that's where soybean meal comes in. soybeans are very, very high in protein. Most like all of your beans are high in protein. That's why, we have to have them both in the ration. We feed the corn for the energy content, and then we feed the soybean meal for the protein content.
Thank you. Okay, Service Valley Charter Academy.
Bend down a little bit.
What's your favorite job to do on the farm?
Could you guys hear that?
No, can you repeat it, please?
What is your favorite job to do on the farm?
I love it when they're farrowing or when they're having babies. That's my favorite time, is because they're just so much fun when they're just a few hours old. They're really cuddly, and yeah, that's just my favorite part on the farm.
That's not necessarily my favorite part on the farm, because a lot of our sows out of random like to farrow in the middle of the night. So that means I've got to stay up. But that's why I have Emily. She stays up and helps them farrow. I just like pigs and being on the farm in general. Their personality types are have such a broad range of personalities that it's just a new thing every day. You go out, you've got one that loves people from day one and will come up and scratch your leg and want petted. And then you got some other pigs that are a little bit crazy, but that's what makes pig farming fun.
So when the sows are farrowing, what do you need to do with the piglets when they're born? Are there certain steps you need to take?
Yeah, so after a piglet is born, they'll be all wet and gooey. So you want to clean them off to make sure that they stay as warm as possible, because you know how it is when you get out of the shower and you're wet, you're really cold. So as soon as a piglet's born, we dry them off and make sure that they're all dry. And then we make sure that they get milk. So for the first 24 hours, a mom makes colostrum, and it's a special type of milk that has antibodies in it, and a piglet needs that colostrum in the first 24 hours of their life to be strong and healthy when they get older. So you want to make sure that they get enough milk to drink, and then we just make sure that they're warm. So whether it be underneath a heat lamp or on that orange pad, you see the orange pad radiates heat. So you want to make sure that they've ate or drank and that they're warm.
Okay, let's go back to Meadow Lane Primary School if you guys have another question to ask. We're having trouble hearing you. Could you have your teacher maybe type it in the message for us?
Go ahead. Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Go ahead.
My question was, is it true that the last baby pig born doesn't survive?
The question was, did you hear the question?
No, Kim, can you repeat it, please?
Is it true that the last piglet born doesn't survive?
No, that's not true at all. It is true that some piglets don't make it when they're born, but it's not always the case. As in life, some things they don't make it, and that happens in pigs as well. But it's not always the last pig doesn't make it.
Okay, Wichita Montessori School.
How old is your oldest pig? How old is your oldest pig?
Emily, how old is your oldest pig?
Our oldest pig, our oldest pig would be a sow, and she's probably pushing 6 years old now. And in our case, we keep our sows, our mama pigs, on for as long as, as long as they continue to be productive, as long as they can still have their babies okay, and it doesn't hurt the piglets or the mom for her to have pigs anymore. So that's how old ours can get. But say at a larger place, larger than what we would have, they normally rotate them out after a year or two. It just depends on where you're at, and everybody has different ages of pigs, and different times in which they start to swap out that pig with a younger one.
Spring Valley Elementary.
How many foods are made from pigs?
Say it one more time.
How many foods are made from pigs?
How many foods are made from pigs?
How many foods? Go for it. A lot.
I think I could stand here for a good part of a day and try and rattle off all the different foods that are made from pigs. So I'm not going to try, and I don't think I could get them covered. But I will talk about the main foods that are made from pigs. I think the one that everybody's familiar with is probably bacon. So just so you know, pigs are the only real source of bacon. If you see turkey bacon anywhere, that's not real bacon. Pigs are the only source of bacon. I just wanted to get that clarified. Pigs also have pork chops. Pigs have tenderloins. Pigs have ham and ham steaks. Pigs have shoulders. A lot of pig meat is turned into roasts, like the shoulders and the hams. You can also get those in roasts. I know Easter's coming up here pretty soon. I'm sure you'll probably have an Easter ham. Comes from a pig. So you have all those main cuts, and then you have all the other things that come from pigs. You have sausage that you eat for breakfast in the morning. You can have ground pork burger, which is a lot like hamburger, but it's made from pork. You can have, Canadian bacon. If you like Canadian bacon on your pizza, that's a pig product. Bratwursts are made from pigs. You can have some Polish sausages that are made from pigs. What am I missing here?
We sell pork. Just call us up. There you go.
Yeah. So there's lard. A lot of people use lard for baking. They use it in pie crust. Kind of something that your grandma's probably used significantly in their cooking. Also a pig product. So obviously a tremendous amount of things that can be eaten from pigs and done with different parts of the pig.
And that's just eight. That's just the food that you consume. That doesn't even get into the byproducts that pigs give off that you use in your everyday life.
Yeah, if you've ever heard of the term pigskin, also known as a football, a lot of those used to be made with pig hide. This is probably something that's a little gross to some people, but back in the medieval times, they made toothbrushes out of pig hair, just because it's so coarse and you can get your teeth clean with it. But thankfully, they moved away from that and use nylon bristles for toothbrushes now.
Thank you. Okay, we'll have one last question from Service Valley Charter Academy.
And squat down a little bit.
Are pigs fun to play with?
Are pigs fun to play with?
Yes, pigs are fun to play with, and like Kaden was saying earlier, everyone has a different personality, and playfulness is definitely a personality type, because if you get out on our other farm, they will just like go and they'll run into you, they'll rub up against you, they'll play tag. We have a dog that goes around almost everywhere with us, and he and the pigs will play tag basically, and they'll chase each other around the pen. So yes.
So Kim, pigs are actually also very intelligent. I think on a number of different lists, they're in the top 10 of the most intelligent animals in the world. They are actually trainable. So, you know, a lot like a dog, you can teach a pig tricks. I know of several people that have taught pigs to sit and to lay, to be scratched over. Some people train them to hunt, you know, like mushrooms or something in a forest, because their noses are very good for smelling. So all those things play into pigs being very fun to play with.
Well, guys, we are about out of time. So Kaden and Emily, I want to thank you guys for your time today. We had about 100 students on the line today. Thank you to the classrooms and the teachers, and also to the teachers for providing your feedback so we can continue to make this a great program for the schools. I also want to thank our sponsors, the Kansas Corn Commission, the Kansas Soybean Commission, Kansas Foundation for Ag in the Classroom, and the Pork Checkoff. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this program, so we really appreciate that. And if all you classrooms want to give a big wave to our farmers and tell them bye.
Hey guys, if you would.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, if you guys would like to go ahead and go to PE, you can.
Did you tell us to? No, Daddy.
You may walk on into PE.
Alexander.